for the record, the exhaust just pushed a picture over and flipped some stuff over on my toolbox over here. That has never happened with a dirt bike. There's a little bit more pressure coming out of this 1290 than there is off my like little 250s and 300s. Hey everybody, thanks for watching Dirt Bike Channel. This is not a dirt bike, but this is my first big street bike. It's a big adventure bike. And you can enter to win this thing. I want to talk about this bike, but before I do, I should just say you can enter to win this thing. I'm giving it away. If you go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com right now, before June 30th of this year, you can enter to win this bike and a couple other dirt bikes that I'm giving away. But I had never done any content. I haven't done any content on this bike yet, and I need to do that. The story with this bike is I bought it about a year ago to go riding with my dad on some street bike trips. I knew I was never going to take it off-road, and you know, I'm like, well, I know the KTM line pretty well. I'm just gonna go with the biggest, baddest street bike that there is. And this thing is absolutely incredible. It's a Super Adventure, it's a 1290 Super Adventure S, and the thing is just a beast. It doesn't come with the side panniers and it doesn't come with the helmet case. I added those on. They're very expensive. These things are like, it was like 1,300 bucks to get those. And that was like, I don't know, I may be wrong on the price. I just know it was really expensive. That was a couple $100 extra. And then I changed my windscreen out because the stock windscreen was basically garbage. And I changed out the silencer. I went to a Wings slip-on silencer here because the KTM one just doesn't sound good. But this one is marginally better anyway. So it's interesting. I put about 1,700 miles on it last year, and it's basically sat in my garage all winter, and I haven't done any rides with it. I've brought it back into the shop twice. Once to do some promo videos when I shot for the launch of my sweepstakes, and then today. And today I almost crashed the dang thing because to get in my backyard I have to go through an area where there's a little bit of dirt, and it was actually just a little bit greasy, and man, these tires, they are not dirt tires. And the thing, it kind of, front end went a little bit and the back end went a little bit and track mud all over my shop. But anyway, this bike is a killer street bike. It's not the first street bike I've owned. I've owned back in the day, I owned a Yamaha R6, like bullet bike. And I've ridden my dad's Harley, well, I guess only his one Harley, ridden some of his other street bikes. And so, but this is the first street bike, the first big street bike that I have ever owned. I haven't been a big street bike guy because I feel like all the cars out there are kind of like death machines. Like you got 5,000 pound killing machines everywhere. Gonna pay attention here as I go through intersections. I'm always a little leery. Gotta pretend like no one can see you. Pretend like you're totally invisible when you're on a street bike. At least on a dirt bike, I don't feel like I'm, you know, worried about getting killed from other people. But when I'm riding this thing, I basically pretend like I'm totally invisible to other cars and they're all out to try to kill me. And that has kept me alive so far, but I don't do a lot of riding. I've taken my kids on several rides. Did one camping trip with my dad where we did an overnighter. I didn't have the side panniers at that time, so I was carrying a big backpack and a different duffel style thing that I put on the rack. So it would be nice if I could go on one more trip with my dad before I give this away. I'm not sure it's possible because we've got a big family vacation coming up that's going to take a bunch of our time. But I would like to take this thing out one more time on a good ride or you know, a couple $100 miles and do some twisty roads and stuff. So the bike has air ride on the Super Adventure S. Probably the R has that too. The R is the dirt version. This thing has got air ride where you have different ride modes. You can like do it in comfort. Well, it's got an off-road suspension mode, which I've never used. It's got like a comfort suspension mode, a street suspension mode, and a sport mode. I'm usually going in either sport or street. And then it's also got an engine management thing where you can go street, sport, comfort, off-road. It's got anti-lock brakes. You can't skid the rear brake. You can't skid the front brake. It's incredible. It's incredible how hard you can brake on this bike and just, you know, come to a stop. That's been absolutely fantastic to play around with. You've got, you know, obviously signal lights. You've got cruise control. This bike has so much power. So much power. I'll give you a little funny story. We're at a rest stop, me and my dad, and a bunch of Harley guys came up, and I'm kind of embarrassed because I'm like, oh, I'm on this big old ugly looking street, you know, this big old ugly looking KTM, and they're on these really sweet looking Harleys and everything. We're talking with them and they're all nice. And of course, because I'm an enduro rider, when I go to leave the parking lot, my dad leaves the parking lot and there's still those guys on the side of the road talking. My dad leaves the parking lot and I kind of start leaving the parking lot, and of course I just stand up on the bike to turn it around like a, you know, enduro rider. And I like start to leave the parking lot and I basically just rolled on the throttle and sat down at the same time and pulled up into a 2-foot wheelie as I rode out of there, dropped the front wheel, hit second gear, and I had to laugh to myself because I'm going, yeah, these guys on these Harleys have better looking bikes, but they've never pulled a wheelie out of a rest stop, especially when they weren't trying. No Harley has ever pulled, well, I shouldn't say that, but Harleys don't pull wheelies, and this one pulled a wheelie when I wasn't even trying. So, I mean, there's been some fun little things like that, but the bike cruises like crazy. It's actually really warm. The fairing keeps a lot of the air off you, and especially with this the Puig windscreen, it's pretty stinking phenomenal. If any of you guys are like big time KTM street bike guys, something that I could use your help on is I have a low fuel warning light. The last time I rode this thing back in the fall, it threw an error saying that there was low fuel, and I haven't actually been able to get that thing to start working again. I know people have talked about pulling the side fairings off and pulling out your fuel gauge, but I don't know if that's exactly it. If people know what's going on with that, send me an email, kyle@dirtbikechannel.com. I don't know if I have time to fix it before I give it away, but it is giving like a readout saying, you know, that there's low fuel. So I've just been going off the trip counter. I know it's full of fuel, but so that's the only issue that I've had with it. Did the first service on the bike after, I can't remember, like 500, 800 miles or something like that, so that that's how you meet your warranty. I had the dealer do that. And then the next oil change isn't for a long, long time. I'm not gonna ride it long enough to go to the next oil change. It's oil. I mean, I've kept fluids up, made sure I've checked my fluids, and just go through the bike. And it's awesome, but it's taking up a lot of room in my garage and it's getting hardly any use. So it needs to go to one of your homes. So go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, to get entered for that. Let's look at the side panniers that I put on here. These side panniers can actually just come off really, really easy. Maybe I'll show you that, but you pop this thing open. This compartment isn't as big because you've got a cutout for your silencer there, and I've got like an Adventure Designs really nice travel toolkit with basically everything in here that you would need to do repairs on the road, and then you can stuff more stuff in there. So that's that side. So I can lock this thing so it won't open by turning it this way. That way that locks the side compartment. Or I can leave it like this where it can open. Or just to take it off, I just turn it like this. This handle pops up. I release a lever back here, and then you can just pull that off. So here's my silencer. You can see how dirty that is. So then it's that easy to take off. So you could take these into a hotel or something if you're really concerned. It's super easy to just take your luggage in like that, lock that thing in the back, snap this thing down here like that, and now it's back on the bike and it's attached really well. So both sides will pop off super easy just like that. Something else that I like about the side panniers is it creates kind of its own little tray right here with these clips. So you can put extra gear behind the little netting right here, like jackets or clothes or whatever, but it also creates a tray for you to, you know, kind of set some stuff on when you're out on the road. So here's my helmet. So this side pannier is big enough to hold a helmet and a bunch of other things. And just kind of really nice. I hope I get to actually use this on a trip before everything is said and done. Let me show you what I've got up in the top container. Let's double check I know how to take this stuff off. Go like this to do that, and then that just pops off really easily. I had to remind myself how that process even works because it's been a while since I installed those. But yeah, pretty cool. Let's take a peek at the helmet carrier on the back. Now it actually comes, when you buy this, you actually have to key it straight up for your bike, for the keys that they give you. You have to kind of modify the lock or put the lock together, which is a tedious process, but there's videos online of how to do it. So you push that button down here, and then there's a latch underneath to open this up. So here's an actual helmet carrier. So in here, and I mean, I've stored helmets, I've stored some riding gear, you know, gloves, whatever. I've got these Scorpion helmets. I've got 2 of these, and I really, really like this thing. These things, I got 2 of them, but I can't fit, I haven't been able to figure out how I can fit 2 of them in here. The selling feature of this helmet case is you can fit 2 helmets in here. I haven't been able to do it, but if you had a different size helmet, you might be able to fit 2 in there. But it's okay, because I can fit 1 down on the side and 1 up in here, and I think that's totally fine. This top luggage case is also removable fairly easily. You just turn this thing over, that opens this up, and then you can pull it off just like that. So you could take that into a hotel as well. You can lift up this, turn this thing the other way, and open up your handle. But now you've got your luggage rack completely clear, so that's another thing. All the luggage is really easy to take off the bike if you just want to go for a quick burn or something and not have all this crap on it. Easy to take that stuff off. So admittedly, the bike looks a lot better with the luggage off. I'll just move out of the frame there and you can kind of take a look at her. Still, I mean, I thought the look would grow on me, and I guess it kind of has. Over the time I've had it, but I don't love the look. You can get it in a couple different color schemes. It just, the crazy like space age front end just kind of, it doesn't really do it for me on a look perspective. But at the same time, from just a functionality perspective, this bike has been amazing. Amazing brakes, amazing power, super long fuel range. I mean, it's not loud. It keeps the wind off you, especially with the upgraded windscreen. I mean, I just don't have a ton of complaints. So this isn't like a full review. It's just like, hey, this is the bike that I have. I wanted to show it to you guys and give you a little information on it. Some of the things I've done to it, which is just silencer, side panniers, and then the helmet case and the windscreen. But really, really fun bike to ride. And I hope this thing goes to a very, very good home. If you want me to review or at least get some other street bikes, let me know. I mean, obviously, I would, if I did one of these again, I would do a smaller version, like a 790 or something. I don't know what they've got. It wouldn't be as good out on the street, but it would be better on the dirt. I would never want to take this bike on the dirt. I'm dead honest with you. I don't know why anyone, they make the dirt version of this, and I don't know why you'd ever even want that. A bike this big and massive on the dirt, just scary to me. I don't know why you'd need it. But anyway, that's what I've got for you guys today. So if you like these videos, please use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV for street bike stuff and dirt bike stuff. That would really, really help me out. You've got the links down in the video description, or you can go over to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, and you can get those links over there. I have a links section, and that would really, really help me out. And make sure you get entered to win this bike. You can get t-shirts like these, and hats and hoodies and jackets and like masks and even goggles and some different things. I'm working on gloves. I don't know when the gloves will be here for dirt bike riding gloves. I've got a bunch of that stuff over on dirtbikechannel.com. If you have ideas for future content on this, I don't know how much riding content, if any, I'm gonna give on this thing, because I don't have my cameras set up on my street bike helmets. I could do it, but I'm just not sure I want to. But anyway, leave the comments down in the description. I don't get to a lot of the comments, but I might look at it on this video just to kind of see what you guys are thinking. But best to email me, Kyle@dirtbikechannel.com, if you want to get a hold of me. Okay, I think that's what I've got for you guys. Leave a single track. Thanks.